Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining in. We are very happy to have you here today, whether you are joining in live or listening to the recording of it later on. Today, we will have the first part of Salesforce Business Academy. And your host today will be, one second. There we go. Your host today will be me. I'm Andrius Guzaitis. I'm accredited Salesforce sales professional at Agmis. And today with me will be Jurgis Bakanas, my colleague from Agmis. He's head of business consulting.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Andrius. Yeah, so for the beginning, our webinar has this approach. We are recording our webinar, so we will be sharing the record after a few days. So you will be able to share it with your colleagues or review everything by yourself. Please feel free to ask questions. To ask questions, use a section in the GoToWebinar platform. It's called chat, or otherwise there's another section called questions. And one more note, just to understand, is everyone, if everyone can hear us?
Yes,
maybe you
please,
can type in, type in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And for the last note, we will be using Salesforce.com data, and we will be sharing the experience gathering, consulting Agmis customers and partners.
Thank you, Jurgis. And yet again, if you experience any technical malfunctions, please kindly put a note into the chat. Hopefully we will see it quick and we'll be able to apprehend the issue in case. Right, so a few legal requirements. Since Salesforce is publicly traded company, we have to tell you to read you their forward-looking statement. In a nutshell, it says that if you are making a purchasing decision of Salesforce products, please place your decision on the currently available functionality, not on the one which is to come in a next or later on update. Well, being done with legalities, let's take a look at today's what we will be talking about today. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to be only the first one of the series of webinars. And today we will do only the very high level kind of skim over of the following four issues. So handling sales and orders, managing support tickets, workplace oversight, specifically remote workplace oversight, and organizing work of field force employees. Before we begin in earnest, I'm quite sure that some of you already know what Salesforce is, because we will be using Salesforce as a go-to example in these webinars. One thing, it's really good software. The other thing is that obviously we know it best, so what else should we use? So anyway, what is the Salesforce? It started in 1999 as the CRM. However, over the last 20 odd years, they grew up quite considerably. And therefore, nowadays, Salesforce is not just CRM. It's actually a huge platform, customer-centered platform, which must be pointed out, which hosts loads of applications, including the good old CRM, which is called now Sales Cloud, customer care software, which is called Service Cloud, marketing package, because you can't do good sales without getting in good leads, commerce, e-commerce, analytics, quite a few actually analytics choices, including recently acquired Tableau, and a huge potential to integrate with all kinds of other products. Right, so let's go to the core of our today's theme. We would like to take a look at what is the best choice for the enterprise software based on the principle of values versus features. First of all, what are the features? I will give you this example. Some 5 years or so ago, it became extremely popular to have your own mobile app. Pretty much each company and organization decided that it's just about right time to get your own app because, well, if you are not on the app market, you are nowhere. I'm sure that you, as me, have some 80 or so applications on your mobile phone. They do have all kinds of possibilities, and so different colors, different designs, different buttons, and so on. There were careers actually made and lost on these things. However, I would say yourselves, like me, also use only maybe 6 or 7 of those, despite the great looks, good or bad looks, and some of them, of those which we are using, are not exactly best looking or having best features, but we are still using them because they provide value. So features are the things which can be easily described, easily put into the checklist, but they are not necessarily the value of the software. Okay, so putting aside features, what is the value? And actually here I would like to cheat a little bit and ask you to answer me the question, what is the value, or at least what's the value of the software, enterprise software would be for you or your company? For that, please open in the browser, it could be either on your phone or on your PC, menti.com, and use the code 868568. It's on your screen, and also it's being posted on the webinar chat, so you can copy paste it from there. While you are connecting to the platform, we will have a few minutes of the awkward silence until first answers comes in. By the way, you'll have 3 options to fill in. I would ask to use as short descriptions as possible, preferably 1 word, but it's not absolutely necessary so. Also, if you feel that you can name more than 3, just feel free after you click submit just to fill in other set of suggestions, what's the value of the enterprise software for the company, and just click enter. Oh, so we have the first ones. Less effort is in the middle. Less effort is always good, of course. And profit, oh yes, don't we like profit, every one of us. User experience. User experience is, of course, quite important, but I dare say it probably is more like a feature. However, we will get to that. It's not completely a feature, but it has to be looked at from certain perspective. Now, we have 5 people who have voted. Could we have more? Don't be shy. Go ahead and give me your ideas on that. Let's make it another maybe 30 seconds and then call it quits. Well, so those are our answers. I can see efficiency right in the middle of it, and actually with a slight typing error, another one at the side. So efficiency comes up as a winner, and I'm extremely happy about that. Why? Well, because efficiency is not exactly a value. Efficiency is the need of the company. Efficiency is what describes the requirement, what to be addressed. Efficiency comes in quite a few layers. It could be quality preservation, meaning that sustained quality of the product or service. It's, of course, time management. It can be reduction of expenses. Excuse me for can be. Obviously, reduction of expenses is always counts towards the efficiency, assuming that nothing else was sacrificed for that. And asset utilization is always important. Of course, there are other layers and levels of efficiency. However, nowadays, probably most important is possibility to be agile in decision making. That's what makes your company efficient. I dare say that when the market is growing, you can afford not to be very agile because it's growing anyway. However, when market is stagnant or even worse, contracting, then you absolutely must be able to make your decisions quickly. So decision making, and especially quick and informed decision making, I would say, is the absolute requirement for efficiency nowadays. So how software can address that? There are a few ways it can contribute to that. So let's start first of all with effort measurement. And I mean specifically effort, that thing which is much harder to measure than how many nuts and bolts were required to assemble something, how much of electricity we used for it, or some such things which were quite, well, maybe not easily, but usefully countable and accountable for well before era of computers even. Effort measurement is something we have to take care nowadays. As an example, if you have two customers, one of them is buying 1 million in a year, the other one is buying 100,000 in a year. It looks like the million customer gives you 10 times more the profit. However, if you do not see how much you spend on making a sale to that customer, how much you spend supporting his requirements, his requests, how much you spend even in your maybe legal team looking after contracts, you cannot really say what is the actual profit on that. So effort measurement is quite important. Then we have integration, or integration of data, more importantly. It is maybe a little bit odd for me to mention that, that it's still something we need to address, but believe me, we do. It's really surprising how often in our practice we come up on situation where two departments are using essentially same data, but it is either being copied and pasted over manually, or even worse, being entered from hard copy into two different systems manually. It's not only inefficient, it also leaves a gate wide open for the human error. So integration and integrability with other software packages is absolute must, and that's the value it brings to your company. Employee onboarding is very important in two ways. First of all, we have to understand that Word, Excel, and similar software, we have a very reasonable expectation that any new or old employee will be quite comfortable with these packages, browser, Word, Excel, all of that. Because we learned that in the school, some of us learned that in university, and one way or the other, it's been part of office life for years now. However, enterprise software, it's not only less unified, it is also much more customized for each and every company. So the sooner you can get people actually comfortably working, the better it is. There is a little bit of a comeback into the user experience, which was one of you mentioned as value. Yes, it can be value as long as it transforms into better employee onboarding, yes, but also better employee usage of the software, meaning that if it makes them if it enables them to use software more efficiently and like that software better. What I mean is that if you don't like using software, you are less likely to enter extra data and therefore provide extra value for the company. Fourth, and also as important as other three, is scalability. The days of choosing the enterprise software, choosing the hardware to run it, and then kind of being stuck with that are getting really over. We cannot afford anymore to have a server, hardware server in-house, which has a hard limit of how far and how quick it can go. In quite a few business nowadays, we just don't think it's possible to be limited to work only from the premises of the company and so on. So scalability and being able to be mobile as well, which actually works together with scalability, is very, very important. All four of these, let's call them pillars, are of course connected by the good old communication. Communication was important since we started communicating in grunts in the Stone Age, but it's getting more and more important the more and more data we have to transfer each and every day. And communication is not only inside your company, is outside, and inside your company there must be a vertical communication between layers of management and employees, and also lateral between departments is no less important. And that communication also must be part of the software. Otherwise, you will be losing information and therefore efficiency. However, all of that falls under the main value we place on enterprise software is visibility. So visibility is the thing which allows you to make those mentioned decisions. Visibility for all the levels of management, not only the highest management, which gets their reports already compiled and so on. Well, that's used to be the case, but visibility on the fly, visibility of the various details, including the faraway view, which gives you a strategical visibility, and going down to the tactical visibility, which can let you drill into smaller details. Now, I think it's very good time to actually go and get a look at how does that work practically. And now I'll hand it over to my colleague Jurgis.
Thank you, Andrus.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm waiting while I will be able to share a screen.
Give me 1 second. And now, just bear with us for a second. We will share other screen now. In the meantime, just before Jurgis starts, I will ask you to go ahead and do put your questions into the platform. I already can see that we have 2 questions. So go ahead and ask your own. We will do our best to answer them at the end of the webinar. And if we run out of time, we will send you answers by email.
Yeah, I hope we won't run out of time. So let's look into the practical part of this. To get everything, to understand everything a bit better, let's imagine that we are working in the company which actually performs in the solar plants business. What we are doing, we are selling solar plants, and afterwards we are maintaining them. We have the customer base who actually buys parts from us, buys as a service solar plants, and they have maintenance plans. They have they have everything that needs to be sorted out. So subscriptions, some other stuff. And let's begin from the top of view. At the moment, I am in the shoes of the sales head. So sales head is not waiting for the next Monday while he will be able to see the reports, the analysis of the how well company sales are performing. No, he's just looking into the dashboards of the company CRM system. It's actually Salesforce at the moment, and looking at what decisions he can make and what actions he can take with their sales representatives. So looking into these dashboards, he see that there's a pipeline report by the sales reps. He drilled down into the report and saw one little thingy that relates to the opportunity which his employee Bill West is working on. Company policy, white policy, is that each opportunity has to have an amount of money written on, because we are doing the forecast from this. And opportunities without amount, it's it's something strange. So without any other ado, he just opens up this opportunity and tries to understand what is happening. So straight from the report, without waiting any comments from my sales rep, I can see what happens here. And I see that, oh, okay, Bill West is not doing his job. At the moment, there are no actions made with this opportunity, just registered. So I look down into the guidance of success. Each our salesman sees this in each step of the opportunity, how we can do better and how we can do more efficient sale process. Each time after our sales are closed, we are reviewing this and we are understanding how we can learn from ourselves, how we can improve our sales, and how we can attract our salespersons to perform better. So not to wait for the Monday, I can type in here a message for our employee Bill West and ask him a question that we need to talk. Bill West, our active sales person will be notified. It doesn't matter if he is working from home on the computer or he is working from mobile phone. He gets the message. This action makes possible to have that internal communication and keep everything visible. So efficiency is growing here. We are not waiting any time less. We are solving the problems at the moment. And our sales head can be agile on the decisions he is making, because he has the latest data available for him. And in just a minute, yeah, I see that Bill West answered to my call, and now we can plan on the meeting. But our sales process, sorry, not sales process, we are seeing that our sales are happening pretty much okay. Everything else is rising. We have the pipeline for the future. We have the opportunity size, and we can step into the next shoes. This is our service executive. Our service executive is solving another problems.
If I may interrupt just for 1 second, I just want to reiterate that each and every of those dashboards you just saw for the sales executive, you can go down into each and every one of them. Unfortunately, we don't have time today to go that deep, but we will show that in the next parts of our webinar.
Yeah, so basically in our next webinars, we will be facing down the sales process, we will be facing down the service process, and we will be facing down field service process. But at the moment, we are looking at the bigger picture and the overview of everything. So as I said, let's start with the service executive dashboard, and we are looking how our team, our service support people are performing. We can see that we are meeting our SLA compliance. Our first contact response with the customer is a bit slower than we want, but it's manageable. And what attracts my eye, how many cases are open at the moment for each support agent. Steven Service has no closed cases. So, okay, let's see in the report. Nice. In that report, I can see, okay, what he's working now. Steve Service. Yes, this is the person, and I can see that he's working on the one case and have already registered 3 new ones. So I can open the one registered for him and understand what he is working on, what he will be working on. each step also is defined and help for the customer service agent provided. If I will type in the problem, the knowledge base will attach the best suited solution for me. These solutions can be converted from the cases that was resolved earlier. So I'm seeing that there is some issues with the clarification of the charges on my bill. So I'm just looking for the bill. And yeah, I can see that there's a lot of answers related to that topic, and I select the most suitable and just attach that article to this case. So looking into this, our service agent knows the best efficient answer, and he can act on the same second that he gets the request from the customer. Additionally, that's not all. Our service agent can see all the related information to that customer. He can open just the contact and see the same information that our salesman just saw. Sorry, I will open the account, yeah, so it's more appropriate. And he see that at the moment with this account, we are doing these sales opportunities. Also, this client had registered support tickets earlier, so we can know what if these problems are occurring often or not. We can see that at the moment he doesn't have a subscription plan, so our support agent can create a task for our salesmen to create a support contract for this person, because he's contacting us very often. We can see the history of the communication between. Of course, it looks from all the perspectives, not only from the support service, but also what was salesman talking to the customer, what was other support agents talking to the customer, how marketing was acting with this customer. And last but not least, we are working for the solar company, so we have to implement the solutions in the remote distances. We have to have the persons who are working on the field. And to manage them, we have another dashboard, and this is called the field service application. We can see how often, how long it takes the visit to our customer site, how we are managing travels, and we have the skill-based people who are working on the actual customer place. So if we have the customer who is buying from us solar panels, and we have to install these into the, I don't know, it's a higher building, and we have the persons who can travel only work on the lower buildings, so we will never see these persons around here. We will automatically select only the persons who can work there. And yeah, actually, as you can see, all the information related.
Jurgis, we do have a microphone problem, I think. We have lost you. So bear with us for a moment. We'll try to reconnect. Working on that. Right, so meanwhile, while the technology is being set up, let me fill in the gap. As you can see, we are working, we are taking a look at the visibility big time. And visibility is the thing which gives us decision making. I see that Jurgis has to reconnect, so bear with us for 1 more minute, probably less than that, and we will be back on track. Okay. Let's see how that goes. I'm terribly sorry for this issue. I think I'll have to take over and go ahead into the next part of the presentation. I'm terribly sorry that we were not able to finish with the field service lightning. However, in the meantime, let's take a look at how Salesforce presents their values. Since word value can be misconstrued in the software world for another meaning, Salesforce uses the word advantage because that essentially is, if you have a good value out of your software package, that gives you an advantage, obviously. So it starts at the very, very basic. First of all, Salesforce is trusted multi-tenant cloud, and these 3 words actually gives quite a lot of different information. Trusted is extremely important especially when we are talking about cloud. Salesforce is one of the very few cloud-based companies providing cloud-based software, which gives for both their users and the third parties complete and clear visage of what's going on in their cloud availability. That is, if you go on trust.salesforce.com, you can at any moment see what's the situation with the clusters, all of the clusters, including the one which mostly hosting, for example, your instance, when they are online, when they are offline. I promise you they are offline for just a few minutes a month just for maintenance, and that does not impact your regular usage. Also, in the last 5 years, Salesforce had only 2 times when there was a interruption to the service provided to the customers for more than just a few minutes. In both cases, Salesforce was very, very transparent of what's going on, when it's going to be back online, which functions are coming up, and for which customers when, which of course gave businesses using them much better edge at planning their own emergency situation, right? Now, multi-tenant means that each and everybody using Salesforce are always on the same copy meaning on the same version of the Salesforce. There is no version A or version B, it's always the same version. You may have fewer functions out of that version because you don't need it. As I mentioned before, it's not a huge platform and definitely not everybody needs all of it. But you are using exactly same copy as giants of the industry like Coca-Cola or Adidas. And cloud, of course, well, cloud is not something terribly new nowadays, but it still means that you have great accessibility to the software. Also, what needs to be stressed out, Salesforce provides 3 annual releases, and those are seamless updates, meaning that your service is not interrupted and you do not have to make extra decisions even if you are using heavily customized version of the Salesforce. How does that happen? We will find out in just a moment. There we go. So it is flexible, scalable metadata platform. What's scalable? I think I won't go too much about because we spoke about that earlier. Flexibility is, of course, also very important. Flexibility comes from the ability to use all the things in the same platform and on different hardware, meaning that you can as well comfortably work both from your PC, from your tablet, or from your mobile phone, which gives you a great flexibility for you and for your workforce. Now, metadata platform means that most of the things, all that magic, what happens under everything, happens in metadata layer, which means that your data is never touched directly. which also means that all these seamless updates are possible, and you do not have to worry if you have any customizations made to your instance. Above metadata, there is of course data, and lots of it. There is data kept of small companies, of big companies, of huge companies, and in some sense, it's all kept in one bucket, meaning that all the intelligence tools, including quite a leading AI tool called Einstein, can gorge themselves on data, not only your data, but they can give you suggestions based also not on your data, but on the market, data available in the market, which is quite an advantage, I would say. Now, all of that would be nothing if we wouldn't have an open API platform, meaning that it's really easy and quick to oh, Jesus, I lost a word, sorry. My English is not terribly good today. To integrate with other software packages, be it ERP systems, accounting packages, social networks, or even Internet of Things. The next one is advantage provided by open ecosystem and partner network. Open ecosystem, it's called ecosystem because if, for example, yourselves have a Salesforce instance going and you come up with a brilliant idea how to use it slightly differently for the particular thing or particular industry, you can as well either put it on the Salesforce marketplace and make money out of it, or just share it for free. It's up to you. And by this, you also enable other users to do it better than they did it before. It works both ways, of course, because you can as well, if you are a Salesforce user, you have access to that. And partner network means that quite a few companies like ours, of course, we are also a partner of the Salesforce, and part of this network provide all kinds of insights and on the feedback loop gives that to the Salesforce, therefore enabling Salesforce to innovate constantly and to provide new and better experiences for their customers and customers of their customers, which is no less important. Now, and the last one, of course, is the availability of quite a few different applications. I call them applications, but they are quite packages on their own, right? Immediately available out of the box. Now, Jurgis, would you like, I can see that you are connected again. Would you like to jump back into the demo?
I suppose the last thing that you saw was field service, yeah?
Yes, just about the beginning of it.
Yeah, so actually it was everything that I wanted to show. I don't know really what part did you miss from that, but it was about how we can see our persons working on the field. And as I said, we had our business is solar plants, and we are, have the crew who is actually has to install these panels. And with field service, we can see which persons are most appropriate to work on that field. For example, we have the higher building, so we have the skill base that the people can work on the higher buildings, and we have the people who can work only on the, let's say, on the fields. So we can separate them, and we automatically can how to call it, make assignments for our employees.
Okay, so thank you very much. Yeah, well, sorry again that we couldn't show that all for you right now, but I'm sure if you join us in the further parts of our webinars, you will be able to see that in even much more detail. So now, we still have 5 minutes. I hope that will be just about enough for the questions, and we have the whole 3 of them actually. If you are still able to ask further questions, feel free to do that now. Let's start with the one which is quite often comes up in our webinars. How much does it cost? Unfortunately, I cannot give you the just, kind of retail price of how much you pay and what you get. As I mentioned before, it's a platform and it must be suited for your particular needs. So it could be as low as, well, 5 licenses and just a minimal implementation with very, very little and extremely quick go-to-market possibility, to really extensive customizations, which takes up to, well, some 6 or not even 9 months. So it differs the price quite a lot, but that is common for pretty much all enterprise software. So sorry, I cannot give you the final answer. However, please feel free to contact us with your specific needs, and we will do our best to provide you a better insight. Now, is Salesforce only for large companies? Is it just for large companies? No, it is not. It suits really well both large companies and small companies. Large companies is quite obvious target because they have loads of layers and loads of departments. They are struggling with visibility and so on. However, small company, as long as it gives you value, it is suitable for you. Let's put it this way. Does it give you value? Well, that's a little bit to answer for yourselves. But one way or the other, I promise you one thing. If you are growing, the Salesforce is definitely suitable for you because it allows a really good scalability. Now, I see other questions coming in, so I'll jump to one which catches my eye. How it compares with Dynamics 365 and what are the differences and advantages? It must be compared, preferably it should be compared on the particular use case, whether it answers your needs or not. In most cases, both are really big and good packages. My preference goes with the Salesforce, not only because I work with it more, but I feel that it's really more flexible. Also, it still provides a little bit of an edge on innovation. Well, a lot of edge on innovation, but a little bit on the regular day-to-day usability, I would say. Also, I can quite assuredly say that go-to-market time with Salesforce is much quicker than with other products being on the market.
And
so, yes.
Another part from the Salesforce, so there's a huge package related to the marketing solutions, and Salesforce has that advantage. So if you are looking into growing your sales and making your customer more happy, suit him the solutions that helps you work more efficiently, automate these solutions. So the Salesforce is the tool to go with. If you are looking for the tool to integrate the just to see the information from the accounting system, I suppose Dynamics could help also.
Thank you, Jurgis. Now, another question is, could you provide any successful references and clients using Salesforce in Lithuania or at least Baltic states? Actually, there are quite a few of those. To begin with, most of the international companies having their offices in Baltic states will be using Salesforce, because most of the big ones are the customers of the Salesforce. However, we already have quite a few nice local cases. Probably best known at the moment would be Pigu.lt, the retailer, online retailer. Also, there are some companies which are pretty innovative ones, like laser building company. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to give the name. Also others which we call, well, we cannot call them unicorns maybe yet, but the really fast growing companies are probably best examples. On the other hand, we also have a few, I wouldn't call it brick and mortar, but old style companies moving into Salesforce already. Right, and the last question for today, how intuitive is the platform? How easy, difficult is to get the hang of it? Actually, it is very intuitive. It was a huge effort from the Salesforce some 4 or 5 years ago to switch into their called Lightning platform. And it's called Lightning not only because it's quick, it's also quick to understand. On top of that, it has probably the best in the market self-tutoring tool called Trailheads, where you can in really short time get a good hang of what can be done, and on top of that, you can get really good pointers of what else you can get out of it, and therefore get, if not for the company but for yourself, personal value on that. And I think that covers all the questions. And thank you very much for asking those, because we are really happy when we see that there is a feedback, you know, that we are providing value for you. So thanks again for everybody, and we will ask you to give us feedback yet again after the webinar. Well, what did you like? Also, it would be great if you could let us know how soon would you like to have next webinar. At the moment, we are planning in about 4 weeks' time. If you think it should be better sooner, please let us know. So thanks again, and goodbye.
Thank you, and have a nice day.